Alright friends, so this is an indoor chalk art project because this week's topic is all about chalk art. Of course, I'm thinking with the warm weather, it's great to be outside to create your amazing works of art using sidewalk chalk, but you can also use sidewalk chalk for some awesome indoor art activities, and here's one of them. For this project, it really works better if you have a dark colored sheet of paper. Black, or this is a dark purple, dark blue, work best. You could work on white paper for this, but the effects aren't going to be as dramatic. So if you have either, a dark colored piece of paper on hand, scrap pieces, that would be best. Also, since we're working with chalk indoors, it is messy. So I would suggest covering your work surface with either newspaper, or if you have an old brown paper bag, you can cut up as a work surface on your table because you don't want the chalk to spread all over the table, and that way you can just throw away the newspaper underneath. And of course, you're going to need some chalk. Sidewalk chalk is fine, regular chalk is fine, even white chalk can work for this activity if you have it. And you're going to need some pieces of just white copy paper and also a scissors. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the white paper to create a stencil that we're going to make, and then we're going to chalk up the stencil, and I'm going to show you how it's going to work. So this is going to end up, so this is our stencil paper and this is our final piece. So it's important to put your final piece aside while you're working with your stencil because you don't want to get it dirty with chalk. And, oh, I forgot to mention, you're going to need a Kleenex or paper towel or a napkin because we're going to be using this to brush the chalk away from our stencil. You'll see how that works in a minute. Alright, so I'm thinking you could do a wavy line, a zigzag line, maybe I'm thinking like a landscape kind of effect for more abstract. It could be a stencil of an object. So I'm going to keep it simple, that would be my advice. So I'm going to do a wavy line, and then I'm also going to do just something really simple, a stencil of a heart. And you also want to keep your stencils fairly big. Don't make them too itty bitty. As you see, I'm using like a good quarter of my paper for my stencil. So I'm going to cut across on my wave. And here's the thing, you can do as many stencils as you want. So if you run out of this paper, get another piece to create more stencils. Okay, I'm going to cut out my heart. Alright, and now you're going to see how this is going to work. So what you're going to do is you're going to put, so if this is your shape, this is the shape I want to transfer onto my dark paper. You're going to use chalk to just I like to do kind of a sweeping motion. You're just chalking up the edge of your stencil. So I'm starting with blue, and you could switch colors. Thinking of the color wheel, if I'm with blue, you probably want to use analogous colors because they blend nicely together. You probably don't want to go to orange next because that would kind of make it a brown or gray. So I'm going to add some of this light violet. I'm going to add some red. And then I'm going to end with this nice blue again. Okay, so you see I'm not chalking up the whole thing, just the edge of the stencil. Alright, then I'm going to take my stencil. I'm going to place it on my paper where I want it to go. I think doing like an angle right here would be really cool. You're going to take your Kleenex or paper towel and kind of wad it up into a little ball. And basically you're just going to push the chalk off, holding your stencil tightly off your paper. And voila, so there you have this awesome kind of outline effect. I'm also thinking, I wonder, because I still see some chalk on here. Yeah, that's coming off there too. So you might be able to use it, ooh, that's like a mountain, a few times. Not quite sure where I'm going with this, but I'm liking the effects. Alright, That looks awesome. Kind of this cool abstract mountain. Now, you want to do a shape stencil. So I have my heart here. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to take chalk and you're going to chalk up just the edge. And I'm pressing pretty hard too. You want to make sure you get enough chalk on the edges. That way enough chalk gets transferred on your paper. And as I'm warning you, it is going to get messy, but sidewalk chalk is very washable, so I wouldn't worry too much. I'm going to do yellow, and I'm going to add some orange on top to make kind of this vibrant yellow-orange heart. All right, now I'm going to place my heart on my good paper, and you're going to take your Kleenex, and basically you're pushing outwards from your stencil. So as you see, I'm going top of my heart, then as I'm moving around, I'm pushing out from the heart onto my paper, going all the way around it. Look at that. I love, I love, I love. So I'm going to do red next, and you can overlap because I had yellow on top of here, so red on top of yellow. That's going to make blend nicely because I'm sticking with my warm color combinations. And I'm going to place that one there. Again, taking my Kleenex, and if this gets too dirty, you should get a second one. Going all the way around. Very, very cool. I'm going to do blue next. And you can experiment with all different kind of stencil shapes. Like I said, you can make it totally abstract. You can make an animal shape. Whatever you want to do. Okay. I'm going to have this one kind of going off the page. All right, ooh. So I'm going to try something. I'm going to take this stencil and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to cut another shape out of that. All right. So what I'm thinking with this one is maybe chalking up the inside of the heart and seeing how that's going to work. Okay, so now since I have the inside one, I'm going to put the chalk into my smaller heart shape and see if that's, yep, that does show up. If you see the smaller heart there, I like that effect. I'm going to add another one. Pushing my chalk into my smaller heart to create that cool stencil. And voila. Yeah, so some of the chalk's going to fall a little bit, and that's okay. If you have hairspray at home, that's a good way of having the chalk stick to the paper, because you know chalk tends to slide off a little bit. That's kind of a fixative. But if you don't, it should stay pretty well on it. You just don't want to rub it too vigorously. And then, you know, again, you can just use the chalk itself to add some drawing effects if you wanted to. So I'm just seeing if I blend in some colors here. Blue and yellow. Adding some green. I can add some cool kind of more painterly effects to my background without using the stencil, and you see that's a lot darker in color, and I kind of like the contrast of the light stencils with the darker chalk lines. I think that looks pretty darn cool. friends, so this is what I got here. As you see, I used just my chalk to do these really kind of abstract wavy lines in my background, kind of give this feeling of movement within my design. Thinking about my color wheel, when I did do my layers of chalk, you see this one has red and blue, which blends nicely. This one I did blues and greens. Just remembering your color wheel as you do blending. You want to keep your colors similar to each other because they blend nicer together. Okay, so I wouldn't want to blend my purple chalk with yellow chalk, which just kind of brown it out. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Got to blow on it a little bit. Enjoyed this activity. Give it a try at home. I think you're going to really enjoy it using stencils and chalk. If you do decide to do it, please post your amazing creations. Send me a picture of what you do. I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.